this is Victor. I'm here with a part 2 on painting this ogre, and now we are going to do the second part and final part on this guy. We are going to do all the details that are missing. If you want to know how we arrived to this point, just look at part 1 where I have done all the colors that you can see here. Okay, and now we are going to start painting, working on the face and the skin. And to do that, I'm using first Wraith Bone. Okay, it's a almost white color, very close to the skin skill, this one. Okay, it's a base color, and with that I'm going to do the white in the eyes, although it's going to be a tricky part here, and I'm going to do the teeth. Okay, to be fair, the white in the eyes is going to be, these eyes are very deep. I'm wondering if I want to do it or not. Okay, let's do like that. And like that. Okay, now we are going to do the teeth. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to take black. I'm going to use an off black. It's Corvus black. Okay, and we are going to let me just take it out of the base, because it's going to be easier for me to do it out of the base and then I put it back. Okay, this should be more or less good. And now I'm going to start doing the skin. So first I will have Boomman gloves, that is quite a dark skin. Put some on my palette. We move Bookman's Glow. I will go next to the eye. And I will do as well the lip. Okay. Now I will use Gislet flash. And I will start highlighting. Cleaning up. For example, the nose. And when needed, I will make a mix Gislet flash with movement glow if I want to make some parts darker. And if I touch the armor, I will use the corpus black to clean it. Now I will also use from time to time Flake One Flash. I just want now to clean up what I did with the Woodman Glow. Now I will use Flake One Flash. Gislet. I will take Cadmium Flash Stone. With Cadmium Flash Stone, I will highlight the lips. Now we'll take a little bit of Flake One Flash. We are going to do like a small bright points. Okay, very little. And finally, I'm going to use a little bit of Seraphim Sepia. And I will do the base of the teeth with Seraphim Sepia. Like that. And we have the face now. The thing I recommend to do is now, I know that it's not metallic, but to improve the definition of the armor, I'm going to use Corpus Black. And do this part of the armor. Because this will be the shade that the armor is projecting. The armor, the helmet, sorry. And will help to frame the face and frame the armor. Okay, just like that. And now I will clean up just here with useless flash. So I still have like a... And now I'm quite happy with the result. So we are going to work as well on the rest of the skin. For that I can go to a bigger brush. I don't need this fine detail. And we start with Kislev. We start marking the musculature. And we use the guidance of that the contour space has left to us to create the shading. What is the advantage if we have applied contrast to now do that? Is that first we know where all the shading will go quite naturally, and second we don't need to go to these details that are very difficult to reach most of the time. And if we need to go like here, we just go there, but we don't need to be that precise anymore. Okay, and like that we are going to keep working on all the musculature. Okay, in some areas you don't need to do more. Here, for example, we'll apply a little bit of the... And here you want to clean up the mess I did. Okay, and I can use again Bookman Glow in case I want to increase or do some shade. This is one that looking down. We can use, instead of using Kislev flash, we can use Carrier flash tone. It will be a little bit darker, but it's going to be still lighter than the shades. And here I realized that I need to apply a little bit of Kislev. Okay. You can see. Now it's looking much better. And if later on I want to apply like hair effect, I do it later. Okay, and now what I'm doing is I'm applying a last highlight of Flight 1 Flash. Okay, you want to apply this. This will give the sensation of a little bit of shine on the skin. That will make it, I think, look even more realistic. Here I recommend on the skin dedicate a little bit of time playing. As you can see, it's a little bit of between layering and I don't know. It's the technique I like to use. That is, it's a mixture between layering and wet blending. Okay. Now we take Flight 1 Flash. And we keep doing like that all the skin, okay? So I will do the same for the rest of the skin, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, so this is how the skin looks like now. You can see. And next I'm going to work on the ornaments, not the ornaments, the things that he's wearing here. So I'm going to use, for example, to highlight this part here, I'm going to use Death Cloud Brown. Okay, so this one, and with the Death Cloud Brown we are going to do different highlights than the ones we did on the other ones, so because not everything is weathering in the same way. Okay, so this is more we'll do something like that. We can do as well some scratches if you want, but this one will go in a different color. Okay, something like that. I'm going to do now the Gothor Brown here, and we can use as well the Vein Blade Brown, that is a much lighter, so we can mix a little bit. Into this highlight. Okay. Then I'm going to use the Messy Desert, the light aqua color, and this one we are going to use it. And this one that are lighter. What you want to do is take a tone that is lighter, and here we can do even, now that I glazed it, we can go over the glaze again and exaggerate a little bit in some points if you want it. Very little. And if you see that it's too visible, you can always come back with a darker color and go over. And here I'm going to use again the very bright brown. To give more lighter brown there. And for this one I'm going to use more fun brown here. And this is to give a different tonality than the rest of the belt, because if I do the same technique everything will look almost the same leather. And I want to give the sensation of different leathers, different materials. But this guy, so you can have some that are the same and then diluted things, or the other object that he's carrying you want to put a different color. I can even use a little bit of the death clown if needed. This will go more on orange side of the brown. We can insist on this scratch that we did here. Try to be random always when you do your weathering. The stone, I like it how it's looking there with the. We have this. I'm going to do now this amphor. I'm going to start first with the Morphan brown. You have to take into account that this is just maybe he's carrying some food here. So what I can see, I'm letting the paint to fade off, right? So you can have like a gradient. And now I'm going to take a little bit of the death cloud, that is the more orangey one. I'm going to insist a little bit on this part. And also to put a little bit on the handle. And here, and now I'm going to take the dark brown and I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom of this. And I think like that, this is looking good. What I will do now, using XV88, and I will add some weathering on the leather that is hanging this amphor. Okay. now we have all the ornaments done. So I'm going to work on this gem, and I will go for a red color on the gem. I think I will go for a red color, so I'm going to use first Mephiston red, something like that. I will wait at this device, and while I'm waiting the Mephiston red is drying, I'm going to use corn red first on the trousers, and then we are going to do a second highlight with Mephiston red. Put a little bit of corn red. Put corn red here. Now we'll take Wild Rider red, and I will go over and I go with Mephiston red so I can make this layer less orangey and more red. I'm going to take as well again. I need to thin it down a little bit because I want the paint to be a little bit more transparent. And I'm going to put it here, here, and we are going to do the same on the other side of on the other leg. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the other leg in the same way, but before we are going to finalize the work on the gem. So on the gem I'm going to use now a dark brown. It's Reynolds Hide in that case. I will apply it on the top of the gem. Now I'm taking a white, putting the white in the middle of the black or dark brown area. Now I'm taking the Wild Rider red and highlighting the bottom, as you can see. And finally I will take a very light orange. This is, if I remember well, let me check, it's Fire Dragon Bright. To thin it down a little bit. I have very little this way, I just want a little bit of water. You want to be very careful with this bright orange. Like that will be enough. Now I will do the trouser later on. I'm going to work now on the bottom. See, working on the bottom, I'm going to use Gilliman Blue. That is a glaze. And I will glaze it like that. Okay, we want to do the same on the other side. And now I will wait at this device. And while I'm waiting at this device, I'm going to finalize the trousers. Okay, so we have done the trousers, and what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add a little bit of weathering. To do that, I'm going to use this one, Gorgonta Fur. It's not the darkest brown, but quite a dark brown. And I'm going to use it, I'm going to apply it directly on the crevices. So for example, here, you can apply it directly at the helmet, this joint in the helmet, right? This to give the sensation of that is weathered, even a little bit rusted. I'm going to do the same here, for example, and we are going to very carefully do it on the rivets. Okay. This will take a little bit of time to do, but I think we'll add a lot of, we'll make the metal to look more interesting. We'll add a lot of yeah, make it more weathered, more like old metal. You can also use this technique, for example, on orcs. You can exaggerate some of the marks that we already have. For example, as well, we can put it on this blade, but on this blade I will just put it at the base, where the places where you think the dirtiness and why not a little bit of rust can accumulate. Okay, so for example, we can also do this part there. Okay, and we have this cut, we can exaggerate the cut as well. I will not do everywhere, just where I see the metal is too flat. And I will not do it on this part because here I want to do different things. Okay, so we'll keep working like editing the helmet on other metallic parts, and I'm back for the next step. Okay, next I'm going to glaze a little bit of Griff Charger Grey over the shoulder pad. I'm going to dilute it quite a lot, and I'm going just want to give this bluish tint, but I don't want this to be too exaggerated. Just to give this part a different look than the rest of the armor. I used the same technique with the brown on the chainmail. Just I glazed some brown, so you can see that there is some brown tonality on the chainmail. So it's exactly the same process. Okay, but very diluted, just to give a little bit of color. We can also do the same, for example, if you want. You can see I'm going to show you on the helmet. Okay, so I'm going very diluted, you don't want to see almost anything, and you want really to be very, very soft. This is really very soft glaze, very translucent, so that you don't cover anything. Just to give this a little bit of this bluish, not too much. You can see I went much lighter on the hammer. Okay, let's work on the wood on the mace, and then I'm going to use again XV88, and I'm going to use mainly XV88 I will use first, so I will do like that. Okay, and then I'm taking Zamesi Desert, and I will do the markings. That we have, and back to XV88. To do this texture. Sorry, big mistake. Zamesi Desert is not a problem. You take a little bit of Zamesi Desert, just cover it and things like that. Will look good. And now I'm checking that the cuts on the wood have a dark brown, so we can use Reynolds height for that. Just to appreciate a little bit the cuts on the wood. Okay. What we want to do next, I think that's all. So yeah, we can give a little bit of bright to the metal now on the parts where we have more friction. So I'm taking the silver color okay, and I'm going to really go back to the edges like that, to the places where I think can be some, again, the blade. You really want the edge of the blade to look polished. Then you can do markings like that. Okay, and as well you can apply a little bit on the spikes of the mace. You don't need to put too much of that. The other place where you can add as well some bright, it's on the rim of this shoulder pad. And I will add a little bit on the buckle, on some of the belt things. Okay. just to make the metal, we work a lot on weathering, so this is making the metal to look dull with very little reflection. So what you want to do now is to add a little bit of brightness to this metallic. Like that. And now I will not go too much on the chainmail anymore. I'm just looking for some strategic points where I want to add some brightness. Okay? So keep working on that. We can add a little bit here and there, just to fill the face a little bit. Okay, on the horn. This will make sense, why not? Then here just the nose. Just clean up some parts if you want them to look brighter, but I'm quite happy with it now. Okay, just not touching here some of the balancing weight of the sword, and also like that. But I think like that we have a very nice finishing now. I just want to do one final touch on the bottle. I'm going to take white. Now that the glazes have dried, and I want to do a little touch with white jazz. Then I will do like that. Okay. I will follow a little bit with Bahar blue. No. I will follow a little bit the contour of this, and I think will be enough like that. Okay, so, and that's all for this so Brutogg, I think it's called, this ogre for the character for Curse City. So I hope you had enjoyed this tutorial. Please give a like if you have liked this video, share if you think other people can be interested, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.